you're passionate about.
Yeah.
And then after we flesh that out, I was thinking maybe just before we go into like the main topic of the day, we can just touch on a couple of like key points. I
Yeah.
mean, current affairs, maybe just very basic.
Hmm.
You're a sports guy, I'm a sports guy.
Hmm.
Like, I find it odd that LA Sevens happened this weekend and there was nothing on Facebook or Instagram in the Kenyan
Yeah.
community.
Who did I see went there?
It's madness. It's
Who,
that
who,
there's the
who
one guy,
posted?
there's Muindi Wanakuru who's always there. I don't know if
Okay,
you know the guy.
no, but there, I have never been to
Never?
sevens. Never.
Wow.
Every time it's
Mm.
just something's happened. I say, next year, next. So now when I'm ready, it's not in LA. I'm like, dang, okay, yeah.
No,
My
it was in
pals are
LA
already.
first, then it went to San Diego for like 4 years,
Yeah,
Vegas for like 6 years,
yeah.
and now it's in LA
So which is the best?
to San Diego.
Oh, really?
For me, it's not even close.
Okay, okay, okay.
Vegas was a novelty just because of all the casinos, the
Mm,
hang. But for me,
yeah,
the overall experience for San Diego,
yeah.
for me, that was the best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
And I'm a rugby fan first and foremost. So like I'm at every game. I'm watching every game.
yeah, yeah.
So the extracurricular, the hang is just extra.
That's
That's just
exactly
extra
that's
gravy on
that.
top.
But even Safari Sevens, it was like that. Guys, I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys are not fans. You guys are just going to drink.
Guys were in
So
the village. There were guys in the village. Then when they hear they come running to the field.
oh my goodness. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So just we can talk
Yeah.
about a couple of keynotes.
Arsenal doing
Yeah,
well.
Arsenal are doing well, and there's a like for example, there's a big game this weekend. So next week there's gonna be a discussion point about what happened this past
Yeah, yeah.
weekend.
Man, those
People
boys.
are gonna be in their feelings next week.
Oh yeah. Sarah, Sarah, Sarah.
Uh, you know,
Man City, right?
I like to say Arsenal. Being an Arsenal fan is like it's like a relationship with a toxic chick.
Oh, for sure.
Like
It,
she
it
gives you
it's
hope. You think everything is going good,
yeah.
and then she catches you, and then you just feel like you're just so low again.
Yeah, it's character development for sure. It's built. That's being an us. My goodness, like I was telling, who was I telling? Was I telling you? Or I was telling someone else. I've been an Arsenal fan from I think '97.
Mm.
I remember when was the World Cup? It was '98 or '97.
It was 90. It was 97.
'97, yeah.
No, no,
So
it was
that year,
98. It
'98.
was
Okay,
the summer of 98, France.
yes,
France,
okay.
Brazil.
So '98 when Thierry joined Arsenal,
Yeah.
and then Vieira was captain. No,
Mm.
no, Vieira was not even captain at that time.
No,
It
he was
was
not.
Tony Adams.
Yes.
So at that time, and then oh my goodness, Canon Nwanko I think had just joined also, and I remember the first game. So no, wait, I think they won the league in '97 and '98. That first game, what's that cup called? The winner of FA versus the winner of the Premier League. I can't remember.
The Super Cup.
Yeah, it used to be called something else before that.
I can't
Anyway,
remember.
Canon Nwanko he was, the way two like number 10, number 9 start the ball.
Yeah.
He gave another back pass, showing off. Kanu gave another. People were like, wait a minute, what has that guy just done? Just crossed his
Kanu had
legs. The
flair.
ball went on that side and he ran this side.
He was
Ah,
like a
guys
guy
were
on
like,
toothpicks and he had flair. He had the control.
yeah, yeah.
Somebody that skinny
Hmm.
shouldn't have been as strong and had as much
No,
control as he
no,
had,
yeah,
but
he was
that
a
was a
very
special guy.
awkward guy the way he runs and the way he
Yeah.
did things. That's the thing about him. So, yeah, and then then Thierry, then Vieira became captain. Now that was the year when the Highbury was like a small ground. I think it was 25,000 people.
And
Yeah,
but the nice thing about hybrid was like you are right there. And from what
yeah.
everything I
Hmm.
heard, you are right
Hmm.
there on the field.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so the atmosphere was electric.
And then even Vieira also again, he's a lanky guy. And then him and Roy Keane, it was just Ngware, and it was yeah.
Let me tell
So
you, there's
and then I
nothing I
gave
hated like Man United. Let me just tell you.
yeah, yeah, it's true,
Nothing,
it's true. Yeah,
nothing anyway. But we'll expound
okay.
on that. We'll
Well,
also need to be
yeah,
like we'll also need to be cognizant of our time and so we just keep things on track.
yeah,
Because I think let's keep the show to like 25 minutes or less initially,
Okay.
because anything longer than that, I found, like, even when I listen to podcasts that I really like, anything longer than like 20 minutes, I switch off. And the key is to have people engaged for a quick listen. So this is something somebody can listen to on the way to work
Yeah.
or like on a lunch break,
Yeah.
and they can relate to us because we're Kenyans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're putting out content that I think will appeal to them,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, like, what did you think of my format and the way I structured the
Yeah.
topic of the day with that guy? What did you think of that?
Let me see here.
So the way I was going to tee it up was, um, a couple of weeks ago, a lady on our what is supposed to be a professional chat jumps in and she says, "Hey guys, I just need your support and your help on something. It's not professional. It's not about work, but I'm just going to share it." So basically telling us she's sharing the GoFundMe page. So she shared it, then she shared the video, and I ignored the video for a couple of days. And somebody who's like a big brother to me called me, says, "Have you listened to that video?" I'm like, "No." He's like, "Go listen to it and tell me what you think." So I get to it maybe a day later. Schedule is hectic. I don't have an hour to just listen to this guy. But when I started listening, I went through the whole thing. And I remember sitting here thinking there's like 6 or 7 key elements in this thing that need to be fleshed out, not just for him, but for every other person who's either in an abusive relationship
Yeah.
or they're abusing someone in a relationship.
Right.
There's a
Right.
lot of things going on there that
Right.
we have to discuss.
Correct.
And I can't just sit and discuss it with my pal. I think this is something that needs to be discussed
Yeah.
and shared widely.
It's true. It's true. Because the issue is not even. I liked how he said it. It's not
Yeah.
Nilioa Mzungu. That's not it. That's not at first for clickbait. People think, oh yeah,
It's great. It's fantastic clickbait.
oh kabisa. In fact, so I was talking to my sister today,
Yeah.
and she has married a Mzungu. I
Okay.
didn't even think about it. I said, "Did you watch that video of that Mzungu?" Then I thought, wait a
Of
minute,
course.
what is she thinking? Like, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I said, no. But this is I know she knows I mean well, but
Yeah.
it's just yeah, marriages are just another animal altogether, man. So
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah.
So I think we could kind of structure format based on that, whatever the topic is, and we'd
Yeah.
have a couple of
I,
points. So I
I
would
like
just,
that.
yeah, so I would
I like
introduce it and say, hey, so there's a gentleman, he's been here since 87. He's married. He has
was
been married,
married.
had 2 kids. He's going through a divorce right now. It's almost final. And his Mzungu wife has taken him for everything. Now, we don't have access to the court documents. We don't know what is true and what is exaggerated a bit. We don't know everything that happened up until the point. But the first thing I think we need to talk about is courts and cases and divorce. Are things equitable here? Let's discuss it. Do you think that he would have given up everything that he had to give up unless maybe there was some other stuff going on? If she's an accountant who brought a spreadsheet and said, "Here is the money."
At first I hadn't watched the video, and then I told my, because there are some people I know in similar situations, and of late I normally tell my wife there are 2 sides to the story. So I hadn't watched the video. My wife had, and then she was like, "No, you can't say that." Then when I watched it, I was like, well, he seems legit. He has legit concerns, but like you've said, really we know one side. But I don't want to, I don't want to cast blame on him or anything. That's not our point.
Yeah.
They're on her. What you're saying, I like what are the lessons we can learn about any marriage and red flags and things like that. So,
yeah. So I think you're going through a divorce.
Yeah.
I guess the number one thing is you have to document everything, right? And he had an attorney who he said went and made a deal for him without his consent.
I was so mad. Like 5 minutes before you enter the court, you're given a small piece of paper. I would have
The deal
thrown
is
a
done.
paper. From what?
So you go through a tantrum in front of the judge. No, I have said no.
No, which is, that's So let me tell you. I've been watching Suits. Sorry,
Yes.
I've been watching Suits, but I've also been, because of our professions. You go through a lot of legal documents. So do I.
Yes.
So these days I'm very aware of legalese and legal stuff, and even currently our wider family at large is going through probate. So I'm just in that space, and I
Yes.
know there's some things lawyers cannot do.
Yes.
In fact, I'm at the point where I'm going to start studying law, not to be a lawyer, just to, because I'm so enamored in this world. So
Mm,
that was really misrepresentation and lack of like offering fiduciary. That was wrong. You cannot do
yes.
something like that. So
You're
I
supposed to
was,
present an offer and your
yeah,
client has to accept. You
exactly.
cannot unilaterally say, okay, we're doing this
No. So
and it's done.
he was blindsided. He was being bullied. He was
Yeah.
in that was legal intimidation. You can't do that was bad. That was bad. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah, that's why they say, make sure you have the right professionals. You need to have the right professionals, whatever you do, whether it's a doctor,
yeah,
whether it's an attorney,
yeah,
whether it's a tax professional. You don't go to the guy on the street who's, you know, doing it for cheaper.
yeah,
You're gonna get what you pay for, right?
yeah. That's true. That's true. And I think even it looks like they were friends before with that lawyer or something like that. I
That's
know
what
the
he said.
judge.
Yes.
I know
Yeah.
the judge for sure, right?
So the judge was a neighbor. They lived in
Yeah.
the same neighborhood.
Three houses down.
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
yeah. So now everybody will stand on him. The judge, the attorneys. He's saying based on what he says, everything is now stacked against him, and he's in a corner. And now, we're gonna talk about the second thing we're gonna talk about is his friends. So based on everything I've seen on YouTube and what he's told us, this guy has helped so many people.
Right. And you're right.
He's
And
helped people.
he seems like that kind of a guy. He's just a people's person, and he just wants to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people in the YouTube comments, yes, I know him. He's helped people. This is my brother. They've laid him out. Now, whether they've had everybody that they know go and spam the chat, I don't know.
Yeah.
But what's the likelihood that everybody there is spamming the chat and it's not legitimate?
Oh,
He
by the
seems
way, uh-huh.
he seems sincere in saying that, he's even put up bond for guys against his house.
Yes. Yeah.
I could never do that.
I
There's
mean, me
maybe
too.
there's a small handful of people. Let me be very real.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
even less than this handful of people that I would,
Yeah.
would bond or
Yeah.
take a loan that
Yeah.
my wife and I would agree,
Mhm.
okay, we're gonna bond for this person. It's less than 5 people. I'll be very honest. I'll be very
Right.
frank.
No, you're right. You're right.
So
And he was trying to cover up for that other guy. I mean, this man is a gentleman. But did you see there's a huge fundraising? I don't know how much they've raised now. I think people in PA have really run. I was seeing our Facebook
so there
Live.
must be multiple fundraisers. The GoFundMe, the last time I looked at it was just a couple of grand. But I'm
Oh,
sure people are sharing amongst themselves, especially up there. And I
yeah,
think also because, if you share it on GoFundMe, that's being tracked. That's public record, right? So I'm sure whatever they're doing, it's stuff that they're doing word of mouth. You can give
and
me cash
and that
versus Zelle. Zelle is trackable. Venmo is trackable. Cash App,
right, right,
yeah.
right. And that aspect of the law of you're an able human being, go and work, like
Yeah.
that I found like that's like slavery. So you're punishing me. What have I done that you want to take everything that I have? I thought that was very unfair. Like,
So I'll ask you something. What do you think about, he talked about a business account, but
yeah,
he kind of skimmed over it very quickly. There was a business account. I used to use it for trips to, there's a resort location where they even have like a home. So they used to
yeah,
use it for trips for clients.
right.
Money was being run through that account. So whether he was running money through that account or whether he was buying stuff at home, he talked about how his KRA PIN, if you own property in Kenya, they can track it. And she went and told the IRS, this guy has money here, he has cash in Kenya, he's got tax information here. This is
And
the whole breakdown.
using the old son to
That's how she got him.
that
That's
that
how she
I
got
mean,
him.
this is not. I was boiling. I was boiling. I was like, this is nuts.
And then he said it's not just me and it's not just the Mzungu, you know.
Right, right.
It's There's some guys who are going through this. There are
Mhm.
some women who are going through this because of their men.
Right,
So
right.
it's not isolated to him just because he married a white woman.
No.
This is happening just because he was in a bad situation.
Yeah. I know someone else here also who Kenyan
Mm,
guy uh, went and got his girlfriend in Kenya and brought her.
okay.
And they're going through a divorce, and this guy's a successful businessman. He owns like I don't know what he owns a franchise, fast food franchise, not
Okay.
KFC, not, but yeah, she apparently Limea Pembe, and he was just down. He was like, I can't believe what I've done. So yeah, it's happening.
So it's happening across the board. And he said that he did this. You know, he was very vulnerable. To bear
Yeah,
yourself and you know that millions of people, hundreds of thousands of people are going to watch this and they're going to talk about it.
yeah,
He put himself out there because I think he wanted to share this and let guys know you're not by yourself.
right.
Um, and maybe he might save somebody,
Yeah,
red flags.
hmm
He was talking about how his wife used to just spend cash. If it's shopping, a new kitchen,
100 G's.
100 G's, whatever she wanted, no expense spared. And he
Yeah,
was out there just working. At what point do you ignore those red flags? And that's a question.
it is. We're talking my wife, same thing. Yeah,
That's 100% on him.
yeah,
And you don't just stay because you have kids, right? You know, some people will
exactly.
just stay because they have kids, and
And and
some people
also
won't.
and also I've always told you know uh, younger guys that you this notion that you've impregnated a girl. Oh, now I have to marry her. That is the worst thing you can ever do. You're not obligated to marry her just because
Mm,
she's pregnant. And looks, and he said it in the video, you know uh, it was not love at first sight. So, and they just ended up getting married.
yeah.
So marriage is a big commitment. It's not a joke. I've been married now going to 18 years, and it's not a joke. You have to, because you so here's the thing: the person you married is not the person who he or she is now. Every year you
You
change and you
change.
morph, and
Both of you change.
both of you change. And there's, you can never say. I remember in my first year, I met a friend of mine those days. It was a Nakumat, I'll never forget, and she was like, "Oh, honeymoon stage," because I think it was when first year,
Mm,
and I'm thinking, wow, it was a very intimidating, like yo, you have a long way to go in marriage, because
mm,
I, I've had a healthy marriage, so
yes.
um, but when she said that, I was like, wow, you mean, but just to think about it, marriage is not something you enter lightly. And but also you have to work at all so you adjust. That was my point. So yeah, honeymoon
Mm.
stage, fine, but you adjust for the rest of your life. You'll keep on adjusting,
It's
because
like professional development, right?
oh yeah,
If you don't go and do additional training,
yeah,
if you
correct,
don't sharpen your
right.
tools at work,
hmm
you're stagnant.
Oh yeah,
And
yep,
then maybe you end up backpedaling. You
yeah,
fall back.
hmm hmm
So just like your profession, I think, and
right.
your marriage, you have to work at it.
hmm
Sometimes you don't have the energy. Sometimes you
Yeah,
don't have the
no,
desire.
you don't have to. You don't. And here's the thing: if you don't have the energy, it'll
Yeah,
come and bite you. It's an animal. Like,
it it'll come and bite you worse. Right?
yeah, yeah,
It'll
yeah,
come get you worse.
yeah, yeah. Every now and then, husband and wife have to come together. And so here's in my first year of marriage, we were the church I used to go to in Kenya
Mm,
sponsored us for a marriage retreat, because we were the youngest couple. And I think we were married. Wow, we were married. I think it was our second year, but we were because I remember she was pregnant.
mhm.
My wife was pregnant. But there was a couple who are married 22 years. Can you imagine in your second year, there's a couple up there, and this is what they were saying. They
Mhm.
ask each other, where is our marriage heading? where is our marriage heading? Like, where are we going? And I thought, oh my goodness, us guys in our first year, those are the things we ask ourselves. You mean even after 22 years? So
You're still asking yourself.
it was so encouraging to think, it's normal to take stock of your marriage, to audit your marriage. Where are we
Okay.
headed? What are the things we hold dear? Are we
So
still headed?
they were planning and positively like looking at their plan. Where
Yeah,
are we going with this? They're continuing to plan.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man.
So yeah, I've been married too. I've been married since 2012.
Okay,
So
nice.
this will be
Yeah,
our 12th year.
nice. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We have three kids.
Hmm.
It hasn't all been roses the whole way, but we fight for each other, and
Oh yeah,
we're
yeah.
making it work, and
Hmm.
we're in it for the long haul.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
the thing is, it's about making that commitment to someone and making the commitment to your family.
Hmm.
It's a choice,
Yeah,
and so that I'm blessed with the fact that she's not a spendthrift,
yeah,
because we all know, and this a discussion for another day is how money makes or breaks people,
yeah,
family, friends, marriages. We'll discuss that in depth,
yeah. With
you know, at
three
some
things
later
break
point.
marriage. We'll talk about those.
Yeah. The last two things I wanted to discuss about our friend up in PA was talk. He's got two kids.
Hmm.
One is grown, he's working. The other one is still in college. And
Yeah,
so, whenever this happens, whenever kids see friction between
yeah,
parents,
yeah,
they know who the agitator is, especially
yeah.
like teens.
Hmm.
When the kids are much younger, they'll go with whoever they're closer to. But whenever they're grown kids or grown people, they can tell where the strife is, where the discord is coming from. And so I hope for him, he said that the family, the wife, the grandparents, everybody was just trying to turn his kids against him. You know, the way I love my kids, I can't imagine, having them turn against me. They don't want to talk to me. That would just shatter me. So I hope for the guy's sake that that all gets worked out. It's at least amicable, and his kids can, you know, spend time with the dad and
Yeah,
that work.
and unless they are very level-headed kids, because I know people who, once you start, parenting is once you start sprinkling like positivity and greatness in your kids, like, hey, you'll
Mhm.
make it in life. I see you this, and we do that. I'm sure you do too to your kids,
Yep.
because that's the
Yep.
voice they need to hear all along.
Mm,
Because this world is so mean.
yeah.
It's think about even the politics in your workplace. The moment you
Yeah.
drive out of your driveway, it's the world against you. So,
Yep.
uh, and today my one of my kids came and you know, I the first thing I did, I said hi. It was a time of correction, and the
Mm,
kid was like, I could tell, like, really, and I had to apologize because I shouldn't have. What I was conveying to the kid would have been said in a better way, but I really, really apologize. I really so. If from an early age you're telling your kid your dad, your dad, your dad, your dad, your dad, and it goes to the point that you're going into his computer and extracting information, I
yeah.
don't know if that ship can turn. I because
Yeah.
but anyway, it's just my thinking. But I don't know. It's really hard. I also know of other situations of people I know,
Mm,
and
mhm.
it's yeah. So I hope they can come and see. Hey, again, our dad was not such a bad guy after all. So we'll see.
Just because you didn't want to buy us Jordans.
Yeah, a $2,000 bike.
Hey, no. Hey, I saw those bikes in Colorado last year. I wanted one. My wife looked at me and she said, "Never,
Yeah, yeah,
never."
yeah, yeah. No,
No.
two.
Anyway,
No, yeah.
but
My
I'll wrap
bikes
up
I
by
buy,
just
my
saying I like the
bicycles I
fact.
buy is from Facebook Marketplace. The most I bought is $100.
Oh,
$100.
really?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I spent 450 on a new bike a
That's
couple of years ago.
new, yes.
Brand new. It was a
Yeah.
trek.
Oh
It
yeah.
was a trek.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
it held its value. So
Hmm.
last thing I wanted to discuss about the guy, I loved the fact that he said, "I've been through the wire. I've gone through hell, and everything's gonna be okay. You know, I went home. I've been played by guys. This guy collared me 2.6 million on a deal. You know,
Yeah.
I'm asking guys to send me cash. Nobody's sending me cash. Like his sister's the one who's supporting him. But he wrapped it up by saying, you know what, I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
he said, I know America.
Yeah. Like the
It's
back of my
important to
hand.
know which pools you can swim in.
Right. Right.
Kenya si Akelium too. Kenya is not for everyone.
No.
And so he recognizes that and he says, you know, I have job interviews lined up here, Europe, Dubai, Middle East. And he says he's going to be fine. He's going to
Yep.
start over fresh and he's going to be okay. So I
Yep.
love the fact that
Mhm.
he's not consigned to the fact that, you know, 27, 30 years investment, he has failed. He's like, I'll start over. I'm going to be
Right.
okay. And I'm
Right.
going to get where I want to be.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
think that's a great message.
Right. He has a good head on his shoulders. That's what I
Yeah.
like about him. And he's not giving up. He knows who he is, what his
Yeah.
worth is. And yeah, so man, that's a strong guy. So wish him
Yeah.
well.
We wish him well.
Hmm.
So appreciate you guys joining us today.
Yep.
Um,
Yep. Yep.
that's our first show. It's a wrap. We'll see
Yep.
you next week.
Alrighty. Good
Peace.
stuff. All right, man.